Hello, everyone. We are playing pure chess today, and we're in the main menu. We're going to go to chess challenges, top right hand corner of the screen. We're doing bonus games up top, and of course, we're doing the set mate and five. Now, today we're tackling problem number 10. So it's going to load just a minute here. And as always, if you like and you haven't had a chance to analyze the screen, go ahead and hit pause and do so. Okay, I trust you had some time to look at this. These mate and five problems are tricky. One of the things I try to tell myself when I'm solving these is to try to figure out a way to simplify and shorten down the number of options and variations if you can, because there can be a lot of variations to try to solve this problem. And there's probably a lot of different ways you can get mate and six, mate and seven, or break apart the position. But we're trying to solve mate and five, so that's the challenge in these things. So okay, what do we have here? Let's start out with black. Black has a king on e8 right there. E8 right there. Okay. Uh, there's basically only one flight square, or two flight squares, sorry, that black has that it can use. There's the f7 square and e7. d7 and d8 are blocked by the queen and the rook, so we got kind of a strong position here. Black has a rook on e8, it's probably not going to use, and a rook on h8, probably not going to be a factor here. A big factor piece in how we solve this is this f8 bishop that black has. Black also has a queen on f5. Between the bishop and the queen, there's a lot of different ways if black can mess with our position. Let's say, take for example, if we don't put the king in check and don't force the king to do some moves, this f8 bishop can go basically to d5, and well, it can go to d5 once we remove this defender right here. We have a defender, this our knight on the e4 square that's defending this c5 square. Yeah, it can basically put a pin on our queen once we move the knight. And okay, so back to black's position. Black has this bishop on e6, and if we move this knight, we could pin the bishop to black's king. What we need to do is we need to figure out how to solve this. So let's take a look at what we have. I mentioned earlier the knight we have on e4. And the knight has a number of different options. One option we could play is f6 check. Problem is, what we want to do is we want to box black's king in. So if we were to play f6 check, black's king is going to go over here, and it's really hard. It's impossible to go checkmate at 5 because black's king can just do a lot of things, and it's got a lot of pieces to defend. So that solution is not going to work. We've got these two rooks right here that we want to develop, d1 and e1. So any solution we have here is going to have to involve getting these things developed and utilize them to their fullest potential. We have a bishop on b2, and if we move some pieces around, it can protect this, or it can give a blocker to some squares and stuff, but it's not really doing anything for us per se. And again, if black does get a chance to play bishop to c5 and pin our queen, or bishop c5 check, let's say we move our queen and then we move our knight, yeah, we're having some issues here. So how exactly do we solve this? Well, this goes back to the earlier point I was trying to make, is we want to try to simplify as much as possible on these type of problems, and try to shorten down the number of options. Because I've just gone through a few options, and there's none of those plays work. So we have to figure out a way to make this work. And so simplification. We have a queen we're going to be playing here. Now, one way was to play queen to a4 check. Problem is, if that happens, black's just going to bunker up and play king to f7, and then it goes... Black's got his position bunkered up. So what we'd like to do is try to see if we can figure out a way to get black's king to go to the left. You know, the d8, c8, possibly b8 squares, and get behind these pawns and see if we can force a back row checkmate. So how we're going to do that is we're going to involve our queen. Queen is backed by the rook on d1. So we're going to play queen to d7 check with the idea of removing or moving one of black's defenders around. So we're just going to play queen to d7 check. And this is a positional play, obviously, because black just took our queen with a bishop. So we just given up material. So the rest of this, you have to see a mating pattern here if you do that. Otherwise a move like that is really, really bad. So here's the mating pattern. We're going to play, we have a knight, and there's two different ways we can put the king in check. And this goes back to the simplification thing. One way is to play the f6, and since I'm listing that first, that's not going to work, because then black can move its king around. Black can move its king to this f7 square right here. We don't want black to move the king to the f7 square, because that really messes up what we were trying to do. We can't box the king in. We need to box the king in to win, and we've only got, you know, a few little pieces here. We got the two rooks we'd like to develop, obviously e1 and d1. So what we're going to do is play the other option, and that's knight to d6 check. Now, black cannot capture with this. Black has his pawn defending the d6 square, but c7 pawn's not going to be able to capture because it's a double check. You see it creates a discover check from the e1 rook. So we got two checks there. Okay. Now we got to continue with the pressure thing. We would like to get a back row mate. If we play e1 rook to e8, it's protected, but, you know, black has this bishop right here defending the e8 square. So we don't have enough pressure there. What we're going to do is play with our knight here. Obviously, the b7 is not going to work. So the only logical choice, and if you look at this wonderful f7 square right here, f7 is not defended. So that's a very good spot for our knight. So we're going to play knight to f7 check. All right, we're almost there. Now we got black's king exactly where we want him, and we have to figure out how to get checkmate in two moves. We've got these two rooks, d1 and e1. Also note that we have this knight right here, and the important part of this problem is that the knight is defending, or the knight is covering this d8 square. More importantly, black does not have any pieces that can defend d8 other than the king. So we just need to get one of our rooks to d8. But, of course, we got this... if you see this rook right here in d1, we can't get it there because the bishop's blocking. Well, that's okay. We, like I said, simplify and shorten down. So we're going to play rook e1 to rook e8 check. And that is going to remove this defender because black doesn't have anybody guarding the square. Well, it only has one piece guarding the square. That's basically the bishop on d7. So we're going to play rook to e8 check. And the bishop's going to... Black only has one move, and that's basically bishop takes e8 check, or e8. So bishop captures e8. Now we just have to play the rook forward to d8. As remember, we got this knight defending d8, and there's no way black can do anything, or nothing black can do about it. It's going to cover all of black's flight squares. All four of them. So, yeah. There we have it. Rook to d8. Checkmate. Problem solved. And, of course, that wraps this up. I am signing out, and I'd like to thank you for watching.